Hello everybody and welcome to episode 65 of Community Service Hour, broadcasting live from Austin with PubCon. We've got a couple things on the agenda here. Number one topic of the week, Blur overtakes OpenSea as number one NFT trade volume. Let's talk about that. It's a big deal. NFT trade volume is also up recently. Can anybody guess what also happened with Blur in the past few weeks?
Lots of hacks and scams.
No. How do you get growth in Web3?
Wash trading.
Why do you do wash trading?
Pump up prices.
No, it's not about the prices. It was the Blur airdrop. Giving out Blur tokens to anybody who's trading. It came with a vengeance. Due to the motivation of people wanting these Blur tokens, and possibly a ridiculous amount of wash sale trading, which we don't even know, the amount of trade volume on Blur now exceeds OpenSea.
Probably a lot of pretty tense investor meetings right now.
Well, they already laid off people, in the middle of last year at the peak. They had 90% market share, and they're like, we need to lay off 20% of our staff because we want to lengthen our runway. If you're not making profit with 90% market share in NFTs in 2021 and 2022.
What are the other marketplaces that are popping up?
X2Y2 has been
going.
Looks Rare, which is gone right now. Yeah, this is good data. It looks good.
Yeah, the block is pretty good.
SuSquare is listed on Blur. Where's that? Yeah, I mean, it's just such big news because it's, oh my god, you too? Terrible.
It's the only way in.
Sorry, you suck. So yeah, in addition to having a suck website, Blur also uses another very not ethical technique. So this thing called loyalty, where they want you to delete all of your listings on other marketplaces, and they're paying you to do that. So they're the number one marketplace by volume, and they're paying people to not work with other marketplaces. But yeah, basically this is what I was telling you from the beginning. If you want to be successful in Web3, one approach is to just look up the SEC, look up the FTC, find everything that's illegal, and do that. So wash sale all day. Phantom liquidity, pay people to not work with your competitors, hack your competitors. I mean, just basically all of these things are in play. What I was liking about Blur before was that they were just a lower price and they didn't pay royalties, and that's fine because that's a different product and royalties are not required anywhere. It's been very clear. So then OpenSea comes in and they try to make royalties required by strong-arming Blur out, and then Blur comes in and they're doing things by paying you not to use OpenSea. I mean, can't you just compete on having a better product? Seriously, now that Blur has successfully achieved dominant market position, I hope they can stop being an asshole and doing things like loyalty. Because that's the whole point of Web3, decentralize. The whole point of decentralize is to take away power from incumbents and to make things, where new people can launch stuff. And here's the secret about decentralizing, because we're still not there. dApps are not decentralized. Even the marketplaces are not decentralized. When you're really decentralized, the margins are zero. It just goes straight to zero, right? All it takes is one person to release a zero margin product that's audited and, trustworthy. And then, that will take over too. Right now we have Blur with 0.5% VIG on transactions. That's what people want. People don't want to pay 10% royalties when they're buying and selling NFTs, especially if they don't care about the NFTs, especially if they're just buying them because they think the price is going to go up. The real way to make the price not go up is to tax 10% on top of the 2.5%. 0.5 sounds a lot better in that market. I supported Blur's rise, and I really am fighting against what they're doing right now.
Some wallets, what they do is every transaction you make, it changes the address, like those change addresses. If you were to do that here, I guess this loyalty scanning thing, it wouldn't work, right? Since it's like isolated by wallet.
You're talking about the changing addresses technique we had earlier on the call?
Yeah.
It was not work because what's happening when it says this specifically, it's looking for listings. Now listings, the only way you know about a listing is by reading a message on like an OpenSea website or something. Now OpenSea where alarms should be going off can very easily fix this. All they have to do is not tell you what the listings are. And they have to block the scrapers from Blur. Because this is all centralized Web 2. Blur is scraping the OpenSea website to see where the listings are, and it's penalizing those people. And if you don't have a listing on OpenSea, then they're giving you tokens. So OpenSea needs to poison their search results, block the Blur IP address, give them bad data, things like that, which is a cat and mouse game. If they're listed on a marketplace and Blur can see it, then Blur can penalize you. Blur only cares about OpenSea really right now. They only care about the top 3 marketplaces because they don't need to write a scraper for the 4th marketplace. It's only 1% market share. This is entirely a growth strategy. Like a loyalty is just...
And Blur has no moat against this happening to them in like 3 months.
Well, the moat is that they have a 0.5% margin. The moat is how much money does 0.5% bring in versus how difficult is it to build a competitor. Because I would do that. If I had more time, I was funded by a DAO, I would just make a competitor to Blur with 0% margins and say, look,
right.
I'm doing this because I just don't care. Maybe people will use that because they want to have 0% instead of 0.5. But the moat is that there's less of a difference between 0 and 0.5 versus 0.5 and 2.5, which is huge. And not even 2.5, it's 2.5 plus 10 with all the royalties. And then if I launch a pirate marketplace or whatever that has 0 margins, then my moat is I'm already the number 1 0 fee marketplace. You will not make any money competing with me.
Right.
Guaranteed. Because I'm making 0 and you're going to make 0 competing on that market.
Yeah.
But it's just the innovator's dilemma, or it's just being more competitive in that one respect.
Somebody who goes to 0.25% or 0%, like they're not going to be able to get discovered the way that Blur did because they're just not going to have the resources to pump up what they're doing. So yeah, it sounds like this is the bottom of the race to the bottom.
Well, competition's good, right?
That's right.
Okay. To me, it feels like marketplaces in general are going to be a window. Because to me, it feels like most of the functions that marketplaces can provide could be pulled back into the browser layer. And it just feels like the browser, the wallet is going to become the new browser, right? And then why would I go somewhere? It's like AOL.com or MSN.com back in the day, right? Welcome to the internet. It doesn't. It's a website. It's a web view. Okay, but if I can just pull that functionality into my browser, into my local environment, and just replace the applications with protocol equivalents, doesn't that feel inevitable?
The amount of innovation on wallets is like criminally low. Yes, you're the window that everybody goes through. The only thing that they could figure out to do profitable is to give you a link on buying and selling you Ethereum. Anybody who wants to buy or sell or touch anything has to use your pop-up. And they don't even show the pop-ups properly. And every time there's somebody's getting scammed or whatever, it's your fault. So you're the window. You're getting complaints every time somebody's scammed, and you're not making any money on the transactions because you're not innovating whatsoever.
Right.
There should just be a browser that wants to make your money. Look, everybody that's using Bing browser, where the whole right side of your screen had this new Microsoft stuff. And any website you're on, it's like, here's competitor websites, here's coupons, here's what Bing thinks, there's like 5 or 6 different tabs of just, I uninstalled that. At least they're trying. Somebody didn't uninstall it.
I hear that. Yeah. It sounds like a nightmare, to be honest. But, effort, right? Mm.
Partner that with Looksrare. Now, Brave is funded better than their existing advertising. We're gonna give you advertising like the 90s called, right?
Brave was outed. So if somebody would use a Brave browser, they would Google something, they would click on the link, and before they went to that web page, Brave would substitute that link with the, this ad came from Brave link as a mechanism to bump up to ad revenue.
Awesome. The solution is you just need to pay for browsers. Browsers need to cost $5 or $10, and they have to have an extreme amount of value inside. People aren't ready for that. Luckily, ChatGPT, they're going to get you on the $20.
It's going to force it, yeah.
And you can see what's coming. The search engine needs to cost $20. Why is there not Bing Pro? Why? We've got ChatGPT, ChatGPT Pro, ChatGPT Bing, Sydney. That's what's going to happen. I would pay $20 for Bing. That's where we need to get to. And when you have people thinking of actually charging money, they don't have to do bullshit like Brave is doing.
Well, it's that old thing, like the product's free, you're the customer, you're the product. It feels to me like one of the challenges that we're looking at as a species right now is this first-party search, first-party discovery is being intermediated by third-party curation, right?
Yep.
Whether that's like the Facebook algorithm, with the outrage emojis, or Twitter, or YouTube, or whatever. It feels to me like AI offers an opportunity for individuals to curate that curation. So I can say, Google search for something, but I want you to remove all the ad-supported results, and want you to remove anything that looks like a sponsor, and when you remove the URLs that look like they just popped up 3 days ago, et cetera, so that there's no specific curation algorithm to hack. You have effectively like super personal, customized algorithms on a per person basis, custom defined by those individuals, possibly like a GitHub style repository where I can clone other people's weightings or something. But feels like it's coming, but I'm not sure there's a sort of traditional business model to build on top of that. And I'm not sure if
There is. They just need to charge you for the API.
I guess that's the thing, right? Yeah.
I'm doing something like that for my day job, scraping search result pages and doing stuff with it. Your browser should do that for you. As people are learning with Bing Chat, because that's going to come to a lot more people. That's really going to help Bing. The monetization, you just got to charge people straight up, because you can't take the ads out of Google, take the ads out of Amazon search results, and then just put ads on top of that. Like, that's going the wrong way. But everybody knows that. We just need people that are brave enough to charge money, build the stuff, and get investors that are like, you're not going to make 4 cents off of each eyeball for this? You're going to charge real money for that?
I remember somebody tried to make like a private Facebook that's, better and nicer for everyone, and it just fell totally flat. I haven't heard of search engines doing that. I just wonder because, maybe there's a reason beyond, stupidity and lack of vision that it's not working.
So Google has custom search JSON API.
You're probably not allowed to build any consumer-facing products with it.
Right.
Okay.
But you can load your own code in. So you can sell the product and then have them load their own API key into it. Just like everybody's doing with ChatGPT. Here's our product, load your ChatGPT key into it and then use it. Run the queries through Google's custom search JSON API, take each result, get them in parallel, run them through your local tool, spit out the result, and there's your search results. That is starting to look good. I mean, Google is just useless. I think DuckDuckGo now, when you use DuckDuckGo and you start searching and you put Reddit in there, it's like, would you like to filter all the results for Reddit? Because it knows, Reddit is where you get opinions, or, it's a good way to... Reddit is a good antidote against advertorials, because people shut that down real fast. So if you're like, should I buy the Xbox or the old Xbox? Reddit can answer that question. Nobody else can. You cannot go on any website and ask, do I want the new Xbox or the old Xbox? Because it's just, or what's the best way to get from this city to that city? There's probably 1 million web pages that just multiply the URLs to get that search term. There's no way you could get objective information on that. Yeah, make your own search engine. I mean, this is, not everybody's going to want to build these things. I would. I hope not everybody wants to pay for these things. The future's coming. What Microsoft is doing is definitely a big step into the future, as we're all noticing. Even if nothing else happens this year except for Bing Chat, that's a decade of innovation right there.
And there's going to be a lot more that happens this year.
So, what happens to all these well-funded hackathons, shield, learn-to-earn communities? The prizes are kind of drawing up. The devs are they're drying up. What's going to happen to this stuff? These platforms still have money. The DAOs still have money. Probably what's drying up is people don't want to travel internationally to go win $50,000 anymore. They have to win $1 million or whatever. That's kind of played out.
I still get emails every day that are like, join our hackathon, to use our protocol. Before we were giving prizes of 100, we were just handing out 100K checks to everyone for submitting a project, and now it's 12K only for the top 3 winners. I feel like something's changing.
Another important part of this is I was advising Tron, so I guess they're still a client, but not an advisory client. So I was advising Tron DAO on their strategy for hackathons. What they had done, which is the only way to do it, is your hackathon, and I hate that word, It needs to be tied into other value. The value can't be I'm flying somewhere to eat pizza and to walk away with a check. There's got to be a lot more. I just came to Texas and I paid money and I didn't hack and nobody wrote me a check. Like a business conference, you go here to learn, meet people, network or whatever. Business conferences, businesses pay for them. Hackathons, sometimes it'll be your moonlighting. So that this is like, I'm here on a Monday and Tuesday in Austin, but hackathons are like on a Saturday and Sunday because you've got school or you've got a job, right? So that's a little bit different. Not every student needs $50,000 to show up somewhere, right? So students will show up for a lot of reasons. Students will show up for good parties. They'll show up to meet people. Imagine how lit of a party you can have for $50K, how much tailwind you would get people talking about how good your party was. Don't underestimate the value of having a really good party. That's what I learned coming into Web3. People ask me, did you expect NFTs are going to be, like this? Yes. Did you expect it was going to be so big? Yes. What were you not expecting? The parties. The people showing up. People actually showing up everywhere, meeting each other. I totally did not expect that. Learning. Paying for people to show up, paying for teachers to show up and actually help people. I would show up to learn. I would show up for one-on-one consultations on various topics in small classes. That's huge. I would fly to some other country for that. I do fly to other countries for that.
I think the original thesis from all these startups and VCs that were funding the hackathons is it's a way to bootstrap developer engagement for our developer tools or protocols or whatever. Surprise, surprise, you get engagement on the day of the hackathon and then it drops off precipitously after that. And I guess who would have thought? When we paid people to use our stuff, they used it, and when we don't pay them, they don't use it anymore.
The other way is flip it over, is have the hackathon. Don't have the hackathon as the event. Instead, the hackathon will be a month or 2 months long. Anybody who passes the finish line, you can just invite them, you pay them, you buy their tickets to the after party. It would just be an after party instead. So at least you get a few months of engagement, and then afterward, maybe it's called the victory lap or something, where you bring all the people out as a cohort and you say, look, you people all did the thing, now we're gonna have a party, thank you. And you can do that on a rolling basis, instead of just having 24 hours of engagement. And plus they have to achieve something. So the 3-month hackathon is, you have to get past some finish line, you have to deliver a thing.
And maybe it's something like grants Game 7 is doing. Like there's like a big barrier to entry and you have to show that you'll get money for sure, instead of a hackathon where it's like a guess. Front end, like there's a bit of due diligence and you have to pass a couple tests to show that you're actually gonna at least attempt to build something sustainable. There's less due diligence and less rigmarole than actually getting investment, but maybe that's more likely to drive engagement for particular projects that want people to use their stuff than a hackathon is.